special edition. We have the beautiful, the lovely, the all-talented Miss TY Cobb in the studio with us today. It is such an honor to have her in here. This is a woman of so many hats that whatever she do, she, as she calls it, ALarge it. She ALarge it. There is no mistaking. When TY Cobb brand hits up there, it's going to be large. I want to make sure that we get a second to let you introduce.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, you already know how. Look, I'm supposed to look this way, but I was like, I'm going to look at my girl, but I'm going to look this way. It is your girl, TY Cobb, Miss ALarge of the DMV. Oh my God, you know what's so crazy? Talking about myself is so odd. But that's when you're humble, because if you're like, oh, what's the name on my titles? I guess producer, makeup artist, pro makeup artist, of course, designer, makeup line, author, actress, model. CEO. Listen, we'll get into singer, and it just keeps going. So look, I'm just happy to be here. But yeah, you already know, everybody, talk show host. Yeah. So and most importantly, a woman of God. With everything. So I am happy to be here, and I am honored to be on your show, and I'm proud of you. See, I always gotta be
brand ambassador.
brand ambassador, all of those things, right?
Brand ambassador. It is a pleasure to actually have you on this show. You have so much going on. You started, let me say this, you started when you were a kid, first of all.
Yeah.
You were a kid when you actually started, but you launched your first branding in 2013 with Snob Envy.
Yes.
With Snob Envy.
Yes.
And with that brand taking off, Snob. Tell us what Snob actually stands for.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So Snob, now this is the story. And a lot of times people will just see, what you've done, but not know the backstory. So Snob, like you said, that was actually my first makeup line. So TY Cobb Beauty wasn't my first makeup line. I actually switched the name, so everything would go under TY Cobb. But Snob Envy, it was just a name for a lipstick brand, right? Launched it, had a great launch party. And then God said, okay, your name for lipstick is way too big just to be lipstick.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And, earlier this year, I had lost someone that was dear to my heart, my cousin Rita. And she was like a second mom to me. She was my cousin. She's married to my cousin. But you know what? She was the one who, and this all ties into it, right? She was the one who had me at Job Corps, and I guess we'll go into that. And she said, Biscuit, because that's my nickname. She said, I need you to come to Job Corps because I actually was starting a program. And guess what? Snob Envy, which was my lipstick, God said to switch it. So Snob stands for Sassy, Noble, Original, and Bold.
Hello.
And who wouldn't envy a woman like that? That was the makeup line, right? That was the makeup line. But again, that's why he was saying it's way too big just for lipstick. And when she asked me to come, basically Snob Envy turned into my self-awareness program for young girls ages 13 to 24. All right, and that's how Snob got started. And because I was a makeup artist, actually I started it, when I was 14 years old, did my first wedding at 15. Self-taught. But yeah, and of course I think when you're a makeup artist, that's the natural thing to go that way. But the thing about it is, I tell everybody, you have to have, when you're an influencer, people want to be, they want to see, you influence, they mimic, and they want to. So to me, everybody, not to say shouldn't do it, but there has to be some influence there that people are going to want to support and buy your stuff and say, you know what, that's just like if Beyonce wears something, not everything she wears on one. But they say, I want to wear that.
Right.
So that is where that came from, and then it switched over because, it was bigger than Sassy Noble Original Bold for a lipstick. It went to my self-awareness program for young girls that was in Job Corps for 3 years.
And that part I didn't know. See, I did not know about the Job Corps. When I tell you I 100%, support and just love the journey that she has been on, all of her endeavors, which are a lot. You speak on the brand as far as TY Beauty and getting Snob Envy going, but it's not just makeup. It's hairstylist. She been doing hair since we was in middle school.
Oh my God! And your hair too, remember? Updos, everything. And people don't know that.
They don't.
People don't know that.
They don't. Kills it, you know. But let's fast forward a little bit. So 2019 was the launch of TY Cobb Beauty.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then you did a duo, because after you did TY Cobb Beauty, you duoed that with the TY Cobb University, with the Beat University.
Yes, yes. Oh my God.
Both in 2019.
Yes,
yes. What made you start? Well, we know what made you start TY Cobb Beauty, because that is just your passion. I mean, everything with the arts in general, you know.
Yeah.
Just as your passion. But when you decided to do Beat University, I mean, first of all, how did you come up with the concept?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so listen. Now, Beat University, of course, is the book, right? But then remember, I launched Beat University, the makeup school.
Yeah.
Right? So Beat University is a fictional account of a makeup school. Right? So basically, it's like if we BU, right? BU. So like HU. So it's a fictional account of a beauty school, which is a college. Right? And of course, I'm a makeup artist, right? But what people don't know, and you can get the book on Amazon, what people don't know is that, yes, you know, I was asking the question, am I Mahogany? Mahogany is the main character in the book. Now, the dean is I would say, a celebrity makeup artist, right? That is in the DMV, right?
That's Chelsea.
No, Chelsea is just like one of, so you have like your good Judies, you got your best friend, you got all the, you know, your crew.
Right.
Because lipsticks is the sorority.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
Right? Now, if you don't have, if you got in the book and you know, the lipsticks is a sorority. So Chelsea, all of them, they're in the sorority. So basically, the dean is a celebrity makeup artist that takes over the school, right? Takes over the dean position. Mahogany, who is on the book, and you guys saw the, you know, the photo shoot. Yeah. Basically, it's me on the book. She is the up-and-coming, you know, it girl of the makeup artistry world. And the dean, when Mahogany gets to the school, the dean knows all about Mahogany, because let's remember, the dean is still very much popping in the makeup industry. And even though she should be trying to groom, and look, y'all got to get the book, groom everybody, it's like she's envious and she's trying to take her down.
Yeah, because the clip that you, the snippet that you put back up on Facebook last week was Stefan, Chelsea, and Mahogany. You know, and of course yourself. Let me tell you something, that snippet had me cracking up, because when Stefan was like, here she comes, look at her walking through here like she owned it. You know, and I was like, the other one, you know, she's pretty cool, look at the dog, you know, so forth. The different characters, you know, how they played it, and how you were just like so oblivious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yep. You were just like, whatever, and kept on, and then your approach when you would come, when they're all gathered, and their faces, them facial expressions, you guys, through everything is wow.
Wow. Now, let me tell you this, because we had, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna get her to play Chelsea, and Stefan. But this is the thing, I was playing the dean,
right?
So actually, I had Nikki playing Mahogany, and I was playing the dean. So the dean was walking past, and he was saying, "Look at her, yeah, you know, y'all got to watch her, y'all got to watch her." And Richard was like, "No, I really think, you know, she's not coming for," and all of that. So yeah, that was and I wanted to have, you know, a visual to go with the book,
right?
So that people will know what the book is about. Because if you hear Beat University, you're thinking it's just about makeup, like I'm giving makeup tips. No, it's about a fictional account of a beauty school. And then at the end, see, I don't want to give it away too much. I'll just say everybody wants my book to be a movie. So definitely get the book. So I can't, you know, if I tell you the whole book, especially what goes down in the end, it, you know, it kind of ruins it. So yeah, and then of course it was just natural to say, oh my God, I'm going to bring out a beauty school, you know, where I teach classes and things like that. I'm bringing it back. So I took the website there because I'm bringing it back January. But yeah, so up and coming makeup artists, I was, you know, I certified them and things like that. So Beat University is a beauty school as well.
And then you take that next step. So you had the Beat University, you did the top. Well, now let's go back. So you did Snob Envy, then you did TY Cobb, the brand, with the lipsticks, the palette.
Yeah, so the makeup, the palettes, all that.
Fast forward to ALarge.
Oh, yes.
ALarge, the clothing, the apparel. And you just smiling.
She's just smiling. It's a lot to be like that. I mean, because she got it all down.
You know, ALarge. And now we're here at the reunion.
Oh, my goodness. Now, see, ALarge, this is the funny thing. My entire life, right, for years, I've always had funny sayings. And this is the thing. It wasn't supposed to be like, people always say, you should be a comedian. It's funny. My uncle used to always be like,
innate capability.
and people never, like, if people don't know me, they don't know, like, people like, Ty is, like, mad funny, right? So, I used to say, you know, please sit down, roll down somebody's heel, da-da-da, this and that. And it was so funny when Tamar used to say, I was like, no, that was not my saying. I already was saying sayings, right? So I used to always say, roll down here, because my aunt used to say all these crazy things or whatever. And then when I started my radio show, it was, listen, honey. So I used to always say, listen. And then people were saying, listen. So that's how the Ty Cobb show was Listen with Ty Cobb, because I would always say, listen. So then I started saying ALarge. And people would be like, oh my God, what is that? And then when I did the show, it would just caught on like wildfire. Everybody was saying ALarge. And basically ALarge, people say, what does ALarge mean? I was like, it can mean anything. Right? So it's like if somebody got on the bomb outfit, girl, you are looking a full extra large. Oh my God. Then if somebody say something weird or just being weird, you be like, here they come. Oh God, ALarge. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically how you say it.
Varies.
Now if somebody is eating ALarge, you be like, girl, she a full on me. So basically it can mean anything. And people like, that is pretty cool. So, and then of course, even though it came so long afterwards, people were like, where's the pearl line? Right. So basically, ALarge, I switched the name of course, and that is how ALarge became. Yeah.
With all of the different hats that you wear, and all of the different things that you have your hands in, which one you just know, like, it is crazy, it just pulls at you? Which one of your hats just automatically at night, it just still has you up, you got that pen going, the creativity flowing? Which one of your hats pulls at you the most?
You know what's funny? And I'll say this to everyone. I always say that God gives you gifts. He already knows what you're going to be. I've never been one, and this is not for anyone that's, you know, it's a bad thing, that just pulls on what everybody else is doing, right? It's always been natural for me since I was a little girl, because I used to act and everything. A little girl, I used to always have ideas. God has just blessed me with a creative mind, whereas though I'm up at night, or I can sit right here and something else pops up. And if you're not careful, you always have to start with one thing and let everything else come up under that, because it'll work, because you'll drive it so crazy. And I would always say, and we'll get to the reality show, it will always be, I would say makeup. Only, this is the reason why I say that, right? Because I love people. And I have a heart for people. And what happens is, makeup artists are sometimes therapists, right? When we don't want to be. You sit in a chair, and I even pray for barbers and hairstylists too.
People just naturally start talking.
And start talking. And I find that a lot of times, you know, sometimes even us, we get here and I'm like, oh my God, we all tugging on each other. You know, we might be like, oh, I feel fat, or I feel, oh my God, I haven't had no sleep, I got a little bit of bags in my eyes, all these things. Sitting someone down and making them feel good about themselves will always tug on my heart. So makeup, because even though hair was actually my first trade, when I've been doing this since I was like 10, 11 years old, and then just for people I know, but it'll be makeup. But you know, I used to write when I was a little girl. I used to draw, because you also draw. She draws way better than me. I was, you know, I was something else draw, but she's draw. But production, acting, writing, but makeup will always be a love for me, even though I haven't stopped it. It's just, you know, people still call me. I still do makeup and things like that. It's just the production of creating the stories that I want people to know. That's been in me since I was a young girl, and that came out in Real Makeup Artists of DC with that. And I know you want to get to that.
Yes, because with the Real Makeup Artists, of DC, when it came out, first of all, when it came out with you getting that reality show going, you know, it took off out of nowhere. It was like you mentioned it, and then it was boom. And then here we were waiting for, like, okay, why she got us on edge like this? What's going on next? What's going on next? Did you know, because the characters, the way that you wrote that script, and the characters, the individuals, how they brought it out, and then to see how it, you know, roller coaster. I'm gonna say that, how it roller coastered throughout with everyone's characters and how they interacted from start. So the twist that was in there, some of them you just did not see coming. You did not see it coming. And it was a shock. And your facial expression at times would show that you didn't see it coming either. You know, it's like some of them like, whoa, especially with the tidbits you've been putting out there with the reunion. It's like the facial expression, like child back, you know, like who you talking to, you know? Oh, you don't know me, you know. Your face was just so interchangeable. But with the making and the producing and getting to know the script in line with the real makeup artist of DC, because I keep saying of DC. One, how long did it take you to get that going? And then two, with the picking of the characters, you know, was that hard?
Okay, so this is the funny part.
And the other question is do any of your characters from Geek University roll into the Real Housewives, the makeup show itself, the reality show?
So this is the thing. That's a packed question. So I've always wanted to do a show. This is the funny part. The show was never. Let me see. That show, the show Real Makeup Artists of DC, right? The name was actually a makeup class. It was going to be a series of makeup classes. And what's crazy, I had to find that flyer. It might have been in 2014 that I put out a flyer with 3 makeup artists. It was myself, but it was a makeup class. But I was going to do a series of makeup classes called Real Makeup Artists of DC that featured 3 makeup artists or 2 makeup artists at a time, and it was going to feature all the makeup artists in the DMV area. A makeup class. It wasn't a show. I ended up having to cancel the first one. I can't remember why I ended up canceling the first one. Nevertheless, that sat on the show. A friend of mine, everybody since I was young, even though I've always been acting and things like that and modeling, people always tell me you need to be on TV. Ty, I guess from the look, but your personality. They sometimes even when they see Empire, they're like, "Girl, you play Taraji." But they have always said, "Ty, you are made for TV. You belong on television." So the funny thing about it is, Real Makeup Artists of DC was never supposed to be a show. Someone else was like, Ty, let's write a show for you. Right? Now this show was going to be like Glam Fairy. If you all remember Glam Fairy, right? Yeah, of course. You didn't. It was the white girl and everything like that. But nevertheless, we were writing a show for me because we wanted to pitch me to network. So that's the thing. Years later, I was like, I'm going to write a show. But of course, again, not so it could be. It would be me in the forefront because it'd be my crew. That's how. And all I did was take the name from Real Makeup Artists DC that was going to be a series of makeup classes and make it the show's name. See, nobody knows that unless you interview me. Again, you would never know Real Makeup Artists DC was actually a makeup class that I was going to feature several MUAs in the DMV area. When I didn't do that, and then years later, when again someone wanted to pitch me for TV, you know what I mean? I was like, years later, I was like, I want to write a show about a crew, my crew. And that's how the show came about. Now, this is the funny thing. It wasn't hard for me because all I did was think about MUAs I already kind of knew. Some we were close, some we worked together. The first season, a lot of them I already knew them. Tanja, Amber, we worked at MAC together. And then of course Harley and I were friends. And then I was asking him, who else should I put on there? Because again, I was the makeup artist for the coordinator for Indie Fashion Week, and he then said, won't you do Stefan, who was funny, we're so close now, but in the first season, I didn't like Stefan basically because I was loyal to a friend that didn't like him. If you all remember the first season. So what's crazy, none of that was fake. My whole reality show was not characters or anything like that. The cast. That's what the cast. The cast, I picked the cast. And then of course, as a creator, I have to know your stories. so that I can best put you with who to make any drama.
Right.
This is the director, right? And how reality goes, right? So sometimes even in season 2, I think even when the reunion came out, you know, having, and me and Braden talks about this all the time, as my videographer, he always says, you know, I think too, being the boss and being on the show, and then it's kind of hard because they want to be like, oh wait, you know, she must have, no. Now there are some things, if I know that somebody's coming on the show and you all don't get along, you know I'm going to have to put you together in some sort of way. You get what I'm saying? So then, of course, sometimes when something happens, I'm like, oh my God. But being a producer in any show, that is how it works. I have to do that. I have to move these chairs so that, of course, to give you a great show. And a lot of people don't know, and my video guys say, people don't know how hard you work. It is not easy doing a show. You have to literally have the gift, the mind, the creativity to do it. So when people watch it, you think you can do it. And it's just like God has given me a gift, because you have to write it out. You have to do all these things. And then sometimes I'll be like, Bray, all right, I'm doing the schedule. I got to put this her together. This is how this is going to go. We got to shoot it like this. I need it like this. And then I'll say, wait a minute, wait. I just got some new information. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that. And what I need to do, we're going to shoot this. And then it becomes magic. Now, somebody listening to it, they're like, what the heck? Exactly, because again, God equips who he wants to equip to do these things. So again, it's a lot of things that people might be like, was it scripted? Not one thing. And we laugh. Look, Braden is over there filming now. We laugh because not one thing was scripted in season 1 or season 2. But because I know who is this, who's that, what's going on, of course I had to put it together. And then some things just come to me. And then there were some things even in season 2. You know, there were people who were suggested to me. Now, and again, people that were suggested to me that some people said, don't bring back such and such from the first season because, you know, don't do that. But of course I have a heart. I'm like, no, you know, some of them was like, oh, I'm gonna do better, please. There were, again, people that was like, don't bring such and such back. Don't do it because you have such a good heart and you think this is going to be like this. And then the second season, it was the same thing. And then someone brought someone else along that I was warned about not to put on the show. And giving opportunities and things came out on the show that I think that of course they didn't like or whatever, and then they came on the show to try to sabotage other people. And you know, I'm definitely not gonna have that with people trying to do that to other people. And you know, I fund everything myself, Shante, my whole production. And I tell people all the time, you know, if I ask you for $25 and I pay my cameraman, I pay him to edit, I pay all, you know, pay for the whole reunion, the setup, I set up everything myself. It was like no one really asked me to, you know.
And that's what people do not realize.
Absolutely.
You know, the being up all night long, the crying, the tears, all of the efforts you put in. Sometimes you feel like it's in vain. Yeah. You know, but it's your drive, it's your ambition. It's you know that this is ultimately this is what I want to do. Yeah. But it's a lot of work to go into it. And like you said, even from the financial aspect, it is a lot of cost up front. Absolutely. And the reward, a lot of times, you know, you can take in and feel like I'm opening doors for all of these people on my back. Yeah. On my dime.
But don't
and I'm
say
not
that.
getting anything in return.
Right. And don't say that because you sound arrogant. You get what I mean? You sound arrogant, which is like, no, I'm not arrogant. It's the truth because my heart sometimes is too big, and you want me to be arrogant, but that's you've known me my whole life. Yeah. I have never been an arrogant person at all. But people will want to think that, and then if you and this is the thing nobody knows, that only again people in the background would know who was there. That everybody thought someone else was like the mama or whatever, you know. And even though I was not the oldest, I was the mama. I was the one praying for everybody. I was the one encouraging. I was the one bringing you back to push your gifts, you know, and things like that. And then it was like a whole ambush. Wow. And you know, people will say, you know, are you gonna, you know, tell people why it took you so long to bring out the reunion? If it's been 4 years, going on 5 years, and I'm just bringing out a reunion, setting up everything and wanting to give other people, like I told you, People have always said, Ty, you need to be on TV.
Absolutely.
Right? Saying, hey, I am not selfish. I am not arrogant. I'm going to give other people a platform, for some that may not even have known anybody or anyone have known. You know what I mean? To even say, hey, open doors. Some I made, you know, made kind of popular.
Yeah.
And the ones, there's one, you know, it hurt my heart, because if I'm sitting there, and I always give a shout out to my brother, Orlando. Orlando defended me. Even when security was there that wasn't even supposed to be real security, they ended up being real security. Shout out to Rico, get his CD, and Pep. They ended up having to try to protect me, and they like, yo, even after that, like, yo, people really hate you for no reason, and you are, you know, they were upset even about it.
Start with the reality show. For some reason, that seems to just, that attitude, she thinks she likes that.
Yeah.
Or she thinks she's better. You know, and sometimes you read, anyone who knows you and follow you, and they read, you know, even with your posts and so forth on your Facebook, where you have to, you know, let people know, look, I'm still human.
Yeah.
You know, down from, you know, your attire because you're into church,
yeah.
you know, and things of that nature, you know, as if, you know, that is what makes you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People don't understand that what makes you is you. People don't understand that you are your light. You know, and that none of it has to be in regards to the continuance of it. Yeah. And by you pushing it, by you keeping TY Cobb Productions going and bringing the next season in, you're going on season 3. You know, here you are again on your dime, on your time, on your dollar, putting a spotlight not just on your brand, but on people who, to be honest, when you watch it from season 1 to 2, necessarily, to me, in my opinion, felt more entitled than appreciative of being or having the opportunity to be spotlighted in that way.
Absolutely.
Because for a lot of them, it was their first time, from what I gather, even acting.
Yeah.
You know, but here it is. And people are now on their seat, on edge, looking forward to seeing how this reality show went, how the reunion went. Not the reality show, but how the reunion went, because those teasers have been off the chain. I'm like, can I get a sneak peek? She gave me a sneak peek.
Yeah.
You know? And look, and I've been inboxing for it. Like, where is that? Where is that? December 3rd, December 23rd, New Year's Eve, you know, you'll get it, you know. So, you know, but your talent is incredible. Your passion shows through what you do. You know, I can be no more proud, you know, of all of the things that you've done. You really, even from your makeup line, I mean, one, the color stayed on.
Oh, and she has been a supporter of every single thing.
Absolutely.
Every single thing I've come out with. Shantae, it's always, and I say that because that's people being comfortable in their skin too. We've always, I gave you all your accolades on my show when you came on my show. She has always been, first of all, gorgeous, could dress, all of these things, and we've always been friends since we were freaking in junior high school. And then even if we don't talk every day, it's always a connection between us. And I thank you, because every single thing I come out with, she buys it. She supports, because that is what, she's not one that's just like, oh, congratulations. She supports me. But I want to tell you, and tell the viewers, because I know that, again, people will want me to do a video before the reunion.
Yes.
I slept in my dress.
Oh, wow.
After, no. After it was over, I slept in my dress. Crying. I did not get undressed. I did not wash my face. The people had to walk me up to my room. It was orchestrated. Everything that happened that night, people had to tell me. They was like, Ty, they planned that.
Damn.
They planned that. That was orchestrated.
Wow.
What was going on with you? And it was so crazy. Y'all, it was so, mind you, this is 4 or 5 years, it's so crazy that Orlando said, you're not going to cry in front of these people.
Hello.
And when he said, you walk down, the people could, and what I had noticed was, now I'll give you this part, that at one point I had to stand up, and we probably won't put that in there. I had to stand up and say, stop. It got so nuts because I'm used to running my own stuff. So if there were people who came to the reunion, it was too many people because it was a cap. I never, even from season 1 when we had the black and white, when I did the black and white party and the city came out, it was bomb. I mean, formal. It was invite only. All my stuff, I don't like no ghetto stuff. It was invite only. I decided to do an open reunion, of course, but have a cap on it. And there were people from season 1, people that other people must have orchestrated to come. And because I wasn't running that, I ended up saying, okay, I set up everything. No one asked if they could help. They came in all their new garments that they you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I literally, people were coming in and I still wasn't dressed. They were like, Ty, you have to go get dressed. And I was like, okay, I know. You know, and I will say, look, Emily came late and someone, Ty, you need help? I said, Emily, you all late asking me if I need help or whatever, right? Need help. If I needed help, you know, at least she came to ask.
Right.
And I walked down and it was like, everyone stopped to stare at me walking in, right? So I'll give people this. And then when it was going, I was uneasy because I saw it was getting nuts, because I always make sure I write out everything, even for the host. Lonnie was the host, to do certain how it should have went as far as the questions. But, you know, I let him do his own thing. He's like, well, Ty, let me do my own thing. I was like, fine. Now
he's a natural, too.
He's a natural. But if he had went by the script, you know, as far as the questions, because I always wanted it to go from the season, the episode 1 to 2. I think we could have curved a lot of what was happening, but it was a lot of audience stuff. You know, oh, let's ask the audience, or people were sending in questions. Like, everything was orchestrated. And at one point, I stood up. It was getting so crazy, and because I wasn't running it, I said, I'm going to hand it over. I need you to run it like this, right? And that wasn't happening, because the craziness, I would have been like, you got to go. People got to get out. But that wasn't happening. It just let it go on.
And just to put a quick disclaimer in there, because Orchestrated came right after we spoke about Lonnie B. He is not attached to the orchestration. So
no. He was the host. Yeah, he was the host.
I just want to put that disclaimer.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. No, he was the host. He was the host. And Lonnie, you'll see, it got so, even after I went to his show afterwards, he was just like, he didn't know what was going to happen. You know, he had to protect himself as well. So no, he's not a part of that. He was the host at the moment, but I had some cards for him to read off the questions. And I let him do his own thing so it would be more natural. And then that, you know, allowed people to send in questions and all that stuff or whatever, which of course I didn't want, because you want to have some kind of structure, you know what I mean? So nevertheless, at one point it got so crazy, I had to say stop. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to stand up, and what I noticed, and even in my bed, they took me to my room because they didn't know if people were going to try to attack me for what. I had fake security. This is crazy. And my camera got to say, I had fake security because I'm like, I know I ain't going to get no drama. I'm just, you know, I'm sitting here, But it was stemmed from the $25 I asked for, and then a text. It was absolutely
so after
crazy.
You having to front your entire casting, all of the props, the food, the venues,
giving you a platform,
your camera crew, and all of that, even fake security, $25 became a focal point to the point that it became tension, and then outburst. Yes, and then in the reunion, you'll see it was a question about a text message, and I answered the question, and then when I say, and then the night before. Someone called me to say, well, you don't deserve $25. We were on the show. We deserve to be paid. Paid for what? And then on the second season, the first season was already popular. Everybody just was happy, excited about the second season, because the first season, a lot of them wasn't even doing what they were supposed to do for the first season because they didn't think it was going to be that big. So they wanted to be on season 2 because, like you said, everything went viral. The first season went viral, so to come on season 2 and think that you done made the whole no. But see, the part about wanting to get paid is because they didn't know what you were or were not receiving. Exactly. And they was like, she not sharing. So the anger and so forth came in there. But again, this is something that came 100% out of your own pocket financially.
and was getting nothing. I got nothing. I gave all. And even when my mom ended up, so after I slept in my dress and God came to me and I woke up in the morning still with my wig on, my makeup, I was just distraught. I was alone. I was alone. And he said, you gonna get up and you gonna stop crying? Because I didn't go to work for like 5 days. I was mentally, it hurt me. And guess what? There was one person that I had been friends with for a long time that was on the case. I was there for, and I could say for everything. There were things, I even brought them back, and they said, well, that person doesn't have a storyline, and it's based, you could tell it was just based on friendship with me, but I brought her back, and she did not stand up for me once. But because I made her popular, and I think people, when you start to get people knowing who, oh, you such and such and such and such, after that, all of them went outside and took pictures with the people that tried to attack me. I don't even know you. And I was left in there. The people who were there knows I was left in there. The two, Rico and Pep, were protecting me, and people were coming up to me and they said, my God, you are something special, and I need you to hold your head up. The enemy wants to destroy you. And the people that are on your platform are just, when I tell you, and then there was something I remember Glenn Jackson told me that they also got mad about. Glenn Jackson told me, and he talked to me, and he said, you know, I've watched you for years. On your platforms, I've watched you for years. He said, you sin, and you'll see it on, you know, he said, what did he say? You send those, what was it, Bray? I can't remember. It was basically the people that suck so much I'm gonna find out, I'm gonna remember the word, but he said you send them back to their living rooms. He told me that. He said because you're too nice. He said, and I don't want people doing you like they did me in the DMV. If anybody knows, Glenn Jackson brought golden scissors to the DMV, and he said that, and I saw him at the Jiffy Lube. Mind you, I had only met Glenn once, and he said because people are gonna hurt you. Make your show about only you. This is what he told me. And when I had put that in the text, I had to say to review, no, that advice was given to me. And when you all want to attack me the night before for $25 and then got somebody else on the crew to orchestrate this, because the people had to tell me it was orchestrated. They said, no, Ty, that was planned out how it was. That is why it took me all this time, because I was hurt.
4 years later.
4 years later, my mind was, I was hurt, because anybody who knows me, they always be like, Ty, you're a good person, but people, the way you look, they'll always think you're stuck up, probably mean, and everybody be like, Ty is so nice. So I lead with my heart when I should just lead sometimes with business.
Absolutely.
But I lead with care. And I could not, I got up, again, I went to sleep by myself. They left me. Not one checked on me, and even the one I thought that I was there for her for everything. And I could have brought out things. I could have did another recap of the reunion, and Braden will tell you, I have footage, I have information that I never put on the show because it would have hurt people. A storyline I could have flipped up with Emily and some information she knew about somebody or somebody they love. I didn't do it. I didn't do it, Shantae, because I'm about people's hearts. I didn't want to destroy anybody. And my mama said, you ain't got to do that. But they targeted me, and then was mad at me. And you'll see in the reunion, I wasn't a good friend. If you only knew what I could, and again, my cameraman was right, only knew what I could have put on there, it probably would have made me look like I was trying to be Mona Scott and get picked up, and it probably would have got picked right on that. And he's nodding his head because it was right, but I was protective, and they didn't know that, and they attacked me for what apparent reason.
Going into season 3, what is something that you may fear with everything that you've experienced from 1 to 2, the release of the reunion coming this on Christmas Eve? Are there any fears or inhibitions that you have going into season 3, from the cast to how it's being produced?
I wasn't going to do any more shows here in the city. I wasn't. And everybody always says, well, every city, but one thing sometimes about DC, and I'm not going to group everybody up together. We don't support each other. People are envious of you. All these things. Somebody who brings a show, you come to. I wasn't going to do anything. he would have been asking me, Lonnie, like, you better bring that show back. Love Lonnie B. Shout out to Lonnie B.
Lonnie B. Judy on
And I was like, Lonnie, you even feared for your life, and then you didn't know what was going to happen. And I was so hurt. I said, I'm not gonna bring anybody back on my platform. I'm not gonna encourage people to be great, because I always want them to be great. A lot of them are doing things, you know, and they will never say, oh, Ty encouraged me. Ty was an inspiration to me, and that's bad. You know what I mean? Or because I was on that show, or because she spoke into my life, I'm doing things now. Right. None of them will say that.
The recognition. Yeah.
None of them will say that. So it took me, I had to heal. And it took me, and I said I would be doing myself a disservice if I did not see what God had for me. Now, this is the thing about it is, I remember my mom said, she said, you are not better, you are different. And sometimes when you are different, being around certain things, certain people, you don't supposed to be there. And that was another reason I did not want to do, I'm just like, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do it in that kind of arena, you know what I mean? Even though, you know, I'm a church girl and things like that. I said, you know what, with all the streaming platforms that wasn't, you know, available then, you know, I think of course my show was the first makeup artist show. And to be honest, even Lonnie said, you put reality on in the city.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And even with that, somebody like, oh, that's arrogant. Anything, I'll tell somebody who was a creator, anything you do, when people just don't like you, they going to think everything is arrogant. I've never been like that. But it's the truth. And what I realized is to have an I don't care attitude about things, whereas though I guard my heart, because I can't take away me caring about people. That's just going to be in me. But to be more careful. I think this time, people always ask, are you bringing the cast back? Absolutely not. So if I'm telling you guys this
that was where I was
right now. I cannot afford, and this is the thing. At the end, and I'll give this snippet to you too. At the end, after all of that, I'm this and that. Oh, everything that came to me, as far as if somebody gave me information about such and such. I was like, no, that wasn't me who said that. That was just after all of that. Lonnie asked the question, because we might not put that in there or whatever. Okay. Would they all come back? Now, if you were and said yes. And that sometimes goes to show that people can orchestrate evil against you, can do things to you. Don't check on you. Leave with the people that attack you for no reason, don't know you. Go take pictures. I'm in here like this, shaking, because I don't know what's going. But I wouldn't. And even in the clips, I don't know. It wasn't in that clip, but even in the little snippets I was showing before that, when I looked like I was tearing up, I couldn't take it anymore. It was closer to the end. And I said, after all of this, you all would say, yeah, I'll come back to her show. And I was like, oh, okay. So to answer your question, I will give you a snippet. Nikki, Emily, of course, Stefan is always welcome back to the show. He's in LA right now. But I will say that. So if people are looking for that will not happen. But I tell you one thing, God has given me such a fresh new idea, and it was crazy. I was telling Brayden, I said, listen, I'm gonna do a season 3. God said it's time, and He had given me the whole vision for it, and was putting people in my head to do. To bring on. So there will be a season 3. That is, nobody knows that, but it's on your show that there will be a season 3. And yes, those 3, again, will, Stefan is in LA, but Emily, Nikki will be coming back. And of course, Stefan is always welcome. You already know Orlando, you're good, I call him the model of the show. There's be a twist to that God has given me to add that to it. And then I'll tell you this, the direction of even bringing on hairstylists, anyways, trying to make it more, showcase more of the DMV's talent. That is what I'm working on now. Again, God is still working on me of how I'm going to bring it about, but I actually wrote out 2 first episodes. Wow. Yeah, and look, I haven't announced the cast or anything, and still, again, I'm still going to have a casting call and things like that, but yeah.
And with all of that, you still have Gospel Fashion Week.
Oh my God!
Gospel Fashion Week is in March.
Actually, I moved the date, so I moved the date. So the date is going to be August 19th through the 21st. I moved the date. Now this is the thing. Everything is done. The website will be done by January. I have to get you the deck. The events, all of that. I have already. And one thing about me, I'll sit here and write everything out, and it'll be done, right? But one thing about it is, I don't want to have to always come out of my pocket. So of course, sponsors and things, and that has always been something that. This is funny part, right? Because I've always funded everything. I don't particularly know how to get
the sponsorship.
Isn't that wild? Like somebody would think, I'd be like, no. Well, let's pray. Let's pray, because I again, you only know this about me. I'm always nervous about things. Even when I do things, I be thinking, oh God, is it going to work? And God always shows up. So if you want to be a sponsor, please, inbox me, DM me. So, and that gives me an opportunity to get sponsors. And then also, I've partnered with a young lady. She is the CEO and creator of Atlanta Fashion Week, ATL Fashion Week. And a lot of times, this is the thing, I've never had a mentor with anything that I've done. People always ask me to mentor them, which I am going to have a mentorship program. And I said, she's had her fashion week for 15 years. 15 years. And she said, I've watched you too. And that is funny how women, we don't know, sometimes women, we don't want to hit each other up. But we're empowering each other. And you never know, somebody be like, oh my God, thank you. And she was like, oh my God, thank you for hitting me up. I've been following you for so long. She even admired me, and I was like, oh my God. I said, I've never had a mentor. I said, my whole fashion week is already written up. The deck is done. Y'all saw I had posted it. If you want the full deck and you want to sponsor or anything like that, I'll send it to you. I said, this is what I need. I said, I'm going to be honest. I said, I don't know how to get sponsors, but what I want longevity with Gospel Fashion Week. Gospel Fashion Week with anything is just not just a fashion week. It's a theme. So basically, grew up in the church, so it's like heaven and hell. This is the thing, right? Heaven and hell. So in the church, you are deemed to hell by how you are dressed. If anybody goes to church or been growing up in the old school way, if you can't wear pants, you're going to hell. I got this lipstick on, I'm going to hell. If you cut your hair, this is real. You're going to hell. So basically, it is basically me bringing your inner rebel, as far as fashion, right, to the church. So it is a fight between heaven and hell, the angels and the devils or whatever. Which is, people's like, oh my God, that concept is so crazy, right? Whereas though it's old school versus new school of doctrine, that hey, I don't have to go, I'm not going to hell because I have on a certain outfit. And people always say you give a good representation of how to be saved and sexy and classy. And I appreciate that, because you can be saved and be able to dress. So the events, Judgment Day. That's day 4. You know what I mean? I'm bringing the netball it's called the Kingdom Ball. So I'm gonna need you guys to definitely support. It's definitely gonna be a full large. So yes, it is a themed event, and then I want to branch off. Where's the Gospel Fashion Week? I'm taking it to Atlanta, of course, and so since we're gonna, definitely, she's coming in, and she's like, yes, let's talk about it. She has Atlanta Fashion Week in March, so I'm thinking season 3, trying to have the crew go there. We have to support each other. So yes, Gospel Fashion Week, August 19th through the 21st. Get your outfits. People are saying they're coming as hell. Right, but it's pretty dope because again, the Kingdom Ball. That's just be real. It's gonna be dope. So, and I want to end up having conversations and conferences around Gospel Fashion Week about fashion and why the church seems to be so strict on what they deem to be unholy as far as fashion.
And just to segue off of the Rebel portion, because you were featured on Candace Rebel.
Yes.
And with that, you did speak about how God's grace pretty much was bestowed upon you.
Yeah.
How did you feel? Being sourced out and put in the spotlight and featured with on Rebel.
Oh my goodness! Well, first of all, look, I was featured Voyage ATL probably last year or 2 years ago. And it's always an honor. I'm always like this, Shantae. I'm just Ty.
Yeah.
or Talisha. Everybody don't, people don't call me by her real name. I don't see myself, I've always been like that since I was little. I've never seen myself as this big person as everybody see, right? And some people don't believe. They be like, you know, you're the. I'm like, no, I've never been like that. That's not how. And I always tell people, I don't think you'll be blessed like that if you don't stay humble. I'm not, you know, even all my life, I always say I always have regrets. When I came out of high school, should have went to New York. I had an opportunity to actually work for MTV. Intern as a makeup artist. I didn't do that because, again, you know, you're spoiled. You're like, oh, I don't want to leave home. I do wish I had left home then. So, but the thing about it is, I always tell people, God always knows what he's shielding you from, and what he's not going to give you at that time when you think, oh, that's a failure. Well, oh, I should have been, I could have been this, that. But he might have been shielding me and giving me what he wants to give me now. So it was it was an honor. It was an honor. But I'm always like, oh my God, you want to interview me? And it's always an honor. So I'm always humble in being like, oh my God, you know. So that's just me.
Let me say, this was a dope interview.
Oh, I talked too much.
No, it was a real dope interview. You shared so much. And I think that people are definitely, well, we already know that people are looking forward to once New Year, Christmas Eve with the reunion. And seeing those clips and so forth. I'm still waiting. You know, I'm waiting, you know, but not only that, to see where else you go. I always put up little posts and so forth saying, okay, this is coming next. This is coming next.
And it always
comes. And it always comes. And what you guys haven't, outside of the church, most of you haven't heard is the voice of Ty Cobb.
Oh my God.
So I'm going to speak it out there, and I'm going to put it on my show, because literally every time I say something, this girl is already working. I didn't even know she was working, and there it is. It comes to fruition. So the voice is coming.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
The voice is coming, because it is one.
Look, yeah, because people don't know I can sing, and my whole family can sing. I have something else for you. There's something else that is coming. It is Brady looking or whatever. This or that. I know you feel like, Dad, she's always thinking of something. So, V Magazine. There's going to be a Gospel V Magazine and a DMV V Magazine. The V stands for video. All right. So of course, God always gives me these creations. It'll be the first video magazine, a visual, whereas though it is in real time.
Wow.
It is in real time. I was going to put the post up on today, but I didn't. You'll see it, but it is, yes. So it's going to be.
You heard it first.
You heard it first. You didn't know. And we're going to do the first installment in February. So again, in real time. So basically, yeah. So if you could picture a magazine being done in real time, as far as, say for instance, I ain't gonna give it all away. Somebody be trying, but yes. So I'm doing two. Again, featuring DMV, fashion, entertainment, and then of course gospel mag, V mag. So it'll be two. And so of course that would be put up on Gumroad, because I'm gonna tell you this: I'm not putting things out again for free.
Yes, you should not. This has been an incredible show with you, ALarge.
ALarge,
Miss Ty Cobb. Please tell the people where they can reach you and how.
Oh my goodness. So Ty Cobb ALarge on IG, Ty Cobb on Facebook. If you want to collab, Ty Cobb Productions with an S at Gmail. I don't use Twitter. You can follow my show, the Ty Cobb Show. I'll be back January the 10th, back on Tuesdays instead of Wednesdays, and that's how you can find me. And Ty Cobb TV to binge watch on YouTube. Now the baseball player might pop up, they Ty Cobb, but you can put in the Real Makeup Artist DC and Ty Cobb.
Who I didn't know existed until I googled her, and when Wikipedia came up, I was like, what name?
The only people who when they hear when I'm at work, only people say is like, oh. And I'll be like, I bet you do know that.
It has been phenomenal. We didn't even take a break. I have so many slides.
Oh my God,
and so forth.
I'm so sorry.
So we're going to run some slides and so forth. I'm going to end the show, but you guys want to recap with some slides. Ty, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank
you for giving me these exclusives. And as always, this is just the beginning. She's just scratching the surface. Stay tuned in to Ty Cobb. Make sure y'all check out her page, like and subscribe. Everything that she has going on is quality, it's hard work, it's dedication, and it's most importantly, from the heart. Stay tuned, and we end every show with a prayer. Would you like to give us a prayer?
Oh my God. So, yeah, Father, in the name of Jesus, God, I come to you right now, Lord Jesus, humbly as I know how. Thank you, Lord God, for this day. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for Shantae and her platform, Lord God. Lord God, I ask you to bless us, Lord God, even as we leave here. Take us through the dangerous highways and byways safely. And even into the next year, Lord God, I ask you, Lord Jesus, to enlarge her territory. Whatever she wants to do, whatever she whispers to you, God, I ask you to bless her right now. And we say amen. It is so and it shall be.
Be used the spoken word. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.